You see polls and studies everywhere, right? They tell us what millions of people think about, well, everything from politics to their favorite pizza toppings. But have you ever really stopped to wonder how they know all that? How do you actually get inside the heads of an entire country? Well, that's exactly the puzzle we're going to piece together today. I mean, seriously, think about it. A country like India has over 1.4 billion people. How on earth could you possibly ask every single one of them their opinion on, well, anything? The sheer scale of that task is just mind-boggling. It feels completely impossible, doesn't it? Okay, so before you can even begin to understand a group, you first have to know exactly who you're talking about. And in the world of statistics, this big picture has a very specific name. And that name is the population. It's not just some general term, it means the entire complete group you want to study and draw conclusions about. So if we're doing that study on India, the population is literally every single person in the country. That's the whole puzzle you're trying to solve. Just try to picture that for a second. The logistics, the time, the sheer effort involved in trying to reach everyone. Yeah, you can see pretty quickly how directly studying an entire population becomes a massive, massive challenge. And look, this isn't just about it feeling overwhelming, it's a hard reality check. There are some very concrete, very real reasons why trying to study everyone is usually just a non-starter. And it really just boils down to two giant roadblocks. First up, money. Can you even imagine the budget it would take to survey millions, let alone over 1 billion people? It's astronomical. And second, there's the logistics. Even if you had all the money in the world, some people are just physically impossible to reach. So, what then? Is it hopeless? Do we just give up on understanding what huge groups of people are thinking? Thankfully, no, not even close. You see, statisticians figured out a much, much smarter way to tackle this. And this is where the breakthrough happens. Instead of trying to boil the entire ocean, you just take a small cup of water out of it. And that little cup? That's what we call a sample. So a sample is just what it sounds like. It's a smaller, specific group that you've selected from that much larger population. This is the group you're actually going to talk to and collect data from. And here's where the magic really happens. By studying just one carefully chosen piece of the puzzle, we can make some incredibly accurate, educated guesses about what the entire picture looks like. It is such a powerful and efficient shortcut to understanding the whole. So, what's the payoff here? Why is this little shortcut so powerful? Well, it's pretty simple. It takes a task that was impossible and makes it possible. I mean, just look at this side by side. Trying to study the whole population is crazy expensive, and a lot of the time just straight up impossible. But focusing on a sample, suddenly the cost is manageable and the whole project becomes completely doable. It totally transforms the problem. Now, this all sounds pretty great, but there is one giant catch. This entire method, this whole beautiful system, only works if you follow one crucial, absolutely non-negotiable rule. It is the foundation that makes any of this trustworthy. And here it is. This is probably the most important part of this whole thing. The small group you pick has to be like a mini version of the large group. If your sample doesn't accurately reflect the whole population, well, then your conclusions are going to be wrong. Simple as that. Representation is everything. Which, of course, leads us to the real million-dollar question, doesn't it? If everything, and I mean everything, depends on that sample being a perfect little mirror of the population, how in the world do you actually pick that group? How do you make sure it's the right one? Well, that is the art and the science of sampling.